The owner of a dog found abandoned and starving now faces charges. We're in Jessamine County with the latest on the case and the dog.
And our little taste of fall is going to run out as we likely see a little more humidity through the weekend with a few showers and storms. We're actually tracking some right now. I'll get you up to date on all of it.
And tragedy strikes at Kentucky high school football practice. New information about a player who died after being struck in the head.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4.
Good Friday afternoon. I'm Jennifer Palumbo. We're saying goodbye to the fall-like weather as we head into the weekend. Temperatures are climbing and rain is falling this afternoon, but just in southern Kentucky. Here's a live look at downtown Lexington where it's dry and in the low 80s right now. Meteorologist Jim Caldwell has a first look at the forecast. And Jim, it's a nice afternoon in Lexington.
Yeah, another one. That's a couple in a row for us. If you go back toward the middle of the week, it's been nice for a while now. We look outside here at the station and you're going to see a little more cloud cover on this end of town as opposed to being right there in the downtown area. So more clouds hanging out with us. Temperature around 83 degrees now, and our northwesterly wind still coming into play. Comes in at around 6 miles per hour. So that's a drier air mass, and that's why our feels like temperature and our actual air temperature are both the same. We're not getting a lot of that humidity together with the temperatures, at least today. Tracking some showers and thunder showers to our south across parts of Wayne County. You can see a decent little cluster that has gone up here over the last little bit. We move a little more toward the east and across sections of Bell County, out around Harlan County. We're tracking showers and thunder showers, some heavier rain associated with that one there that's right now over the city of Pineville with a little bit of lightning. We'll likely see this zone impacted again during the day tomorrow with maybe a few more trying to go up. Again, generally on the dry side for most of us out there. We'll take a closer look at those chances coming up in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Jim. Investigators have found and charged the owner of a dog found nearly starved to death last month at an apartment complex. This comes 4 days after Jessamine County Animal Control offered a reward for information in the case. WKYT's Phil Pendleton tells us what the owner told officers in our top story at 4.
Eugene Gino Floyd is facing a misdemeanor charge of second-degree cruelty to animals. This all began when officials tell us that a small puppy was found starving at a local apartment complex nearby. This is video of the dog shortly after she was found, and this is how she looks today. The dog was found at the Beaufort Place Apartments. A passerby took her to the animal shelter. That's where she has stayed while she recovers, and police investigate the case. An appeal was made, and investigators say they determined that Eugene Gino Floyd of Longview Drive was the owner. He told the officer that he didn't have time to take care of the dog and set it loose in hopes that someone would find it and take care of it.
Last night, one of my officers, Officer Taylor Bourne, interrogated a Eugene Gino Floyd that we believe could possibly be the owner. From that interrogation, he did confess that the animal was owned by him and that he was responsible for the animal's condition.
Floyd was summoned to court, and the dog will stay at the shelter until the legal process is through. I'll have more on the allegations and the person police say is responsible coming up at 5 and 6 o'clock. But for now, in Jessamine County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Investigators say a tip led them to Floyd. He was cited but not arrested and could face up to a year in jail if he's found guilty. Attorneys for Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis have until the end of business today to file paperwork with a federal judge. They want a stay on the judge's injunction ordering Davis to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples. Davis was at work today. She wasn't yesterday when her office defied the judge's order and turned away several gay couples. Davis's attorneys tell us they advised the clerk's office not to issue licenses until the appeal process is resolved. Protesters are back in front of the courthouse today. A Western Kentucky teenager has died in an accident on the football field. Hopkinsville police say 17-year-old Javon Quarles was helping move a large piece of equipment during practice yesterday when it accidentally fell and hit him on the head. The equipment is used to teach linemen how to stay low on the line of scrimmage. Quarles' teammates are trying to cope with his sudden death.
They're taking it very hard. As I said to someone, and you're a member of a team, it goes beyond just friendships. Sometimes they consider each other more like family, like brothers. So everyone's taking this very hard, but especially the teammates.
Quarles was a senior at Hopkinsville High School. Police say he was not wearing a helmet at the time of the accident. Hopkinsville police are investigating his death. Our reporters are working on a number of other stories for WKYT starting at 4:30. Sam Dick joins us from the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Sam.
Good afternoon, Jennifer. A new and improved version of Alumni Drive is almost ready. The portion between Tates Creek and Nicholasville Road will reopen on Sunday. The new design includes a couple of roundabouts and new space for pedestrians and people on bicycles. We'll have a sneak peek of the improvements on WKYT News coming up at 4:30. Emails, the subject of a hearing in a Lexington murder case earlier today. Travis Breadhold is accused of killing Mike Patel during a gas station robbery nearly 2 years ago. Today, his attorney fought to see emails between prosecutors and the Kentucky State Police Lab. We'll show you what a judge decided on WKYT News at 5:30. Tomorrow marks the 70th anniversary of the end of World War II, known as VJ Day. On August 15th, 1945, Japan surrendered to the U.S., ending the war. The Lexington National Cemetery held a ceremony to honor all Kentucky military members who died during the war, and we'll show you that tribute on WKYT News at 6 o'clock. That's a look at some of the news in progress. Jennifer, back to you.
Thanks, Sam. Now to stories making headlines across the nation at 4. The U.S. taking another step today toward better relations with Cuba. The U.S. reopened its embassy in Havana. The American flag hasn't flown over the building since 1961. Secretary of State John Kerry was there for the ceremony. He says it will make it easier for the two governments to engage with one another.
The leaders in Havana and the Cuban people should also know that the United States will always remain a champion of democratic principles and reforms.
Cuban diplomats want trade embargoes lifted. Kerry reiterated that the Obama administration is in favor of lifting the embargo, but only Congress can take that action, and many of them oppose it. It's the bizarre intersection of deep-fried Oreos, butter sculptures, and politics. Presidential hopefuls are making a mad dash to the Iowa State Fair for some face-to-face time with potential voters in the early caucus state. As Karen Kefa explains, it's an important stop on the road to the White House.
For the next few days, the Iowa State Fair is the epicenter of presidential politics.
One more bite.
And munching on deep-fried candy and getting folksy with potential voters can score big political points.
That was a Snickers bar done the right way.
As they have for more than 40 years, Iowa voters will get the first say in the 2016 race for president.
17 Republicans are coming to Iowa to ask for your vote and support in the caucuses.
Republican presidential candidate Jeb Bush took the soapbox Friday as he struggles in the Hawkeye state. A recent CNN ORC poll of likely Iowa caucus goers shows just 5% support Bush, tied for 7th with Senators Rand Paul and Marco Rubio among GOP candidates. Donald Trump continues to lead the field there.
Polls are irrelevant. There will be people moving up and moving down. It's always been that way.
Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton is maintaining a lead in Iowa, but has recently dealt with a surge of momentum from Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. And those rumors about a potential Al Gore run, his team says they are groundless, while talk surrounding a possible Joe Biden bid is heating up.
I think Vice President Biden is a tremendous public servant for our country, and I would welcome his entrance into this race.
Biden is expected to announce his intentions in the next few weeks. All evidence that the field of candidates on both sides is anything but solid. I'm Karen Kefa reporting.
Most of the presidential candidates on both sides are expected to stop at the Iowa State Fair. Officials have lifted a state of emergency in Ferguson, Missouri. St. Louis County issued the order Monday following violence during protests marking the one-year anniversary of Michael Brown's death. A Ferguson police officer shot and killed him last August. The last 3 nights have been calm, but officials say police will remain vigilant.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Wall Street ends the week higher after upbeat data and gains from retailers. The Dow up 69 to close at 17,477. The NASDAQ added 15 and the S&P 8. Another recall alert from General Motors today. The company is recalling more than 73,000 Chevy Cobalts. Improper wiring could prevent the roof-mounted driver's side airbag from deploying after a crash. The recall affects 2010 Cobalts. GM says it's aware of one crash with an injury that may be related to the issue. The automaker will notify Cobalt owners who are affected, and dealers will replace any faulty wiring for free. Many Kentucky students headed back to school this week, and when parents went to buy their children's supplies, they might have noticed a few extra items on the list. Jerika Duncan looks at why you're sometimes asked to bring more than your child needs.
What are you feeling right now as you get ready to go back into that back-to-school mode?
It is a lot.
Shopping for school supplies has become an annual tradition for Shakora Wright. Her son Nicholas starts 4th grade in a few weeks.
They would request hand sanitizer, Lysol wipes.
This year, 1st graders at an elementary school in Moody, Alabama are required to bring items including Kleenex, hand soap, Clorox wipes, baby wipes, paper towels, Ziploc bags, trash bags, and hand sanitizer. According to the National Retail Federation, spending on back-to-school supplies has grown on average 42% since 2005. Parents pay an average of about $580 per year for a child in elementary school.
What we saw in the last decade, or especially the last 5 or 6 years, are some very large cuts to education budgets. And what schools have been doing is cutting back on everything they possibly can. Someone's got to take care of that.
And it's not just parents. One study shows elementary and high school teachers spend an annual average of about $500 out of pocket on supplies.
Is it frustrating as a parent when you look at that list?
Yes. I mean, you know, I'm not frustrated over pencils. Of course, he needs a pencil, he needs folders, things that make sense.
Jerika Duncan, CBS News, New York.
Teachers are also frustrated. In a statement, the American Federation of Teachers says teachers have taken it upon themselves to do everything in their power to help their kids, including digging deep into their pockets for supplies. It's time the teachers get the tools they need. Samsung raised the bar in the smartphone wars with Samsung Pay. It lets customers use their phones like credit cards virtually everywhere. Android and Apple Pay still aren't available at many retailers. For security, Samsung requires a fingerprint or PIN, and the actual card number is never revealed. Edward Jones has agreed to pay more than $20 million as part of a settlement with federal regulators. The Securities and Exchange Commission claims the financial services firm overcharged customers for new municipal bonds. As part of the settlement, $5.2 million will be refunded to those past and present clients. A Lexington summer tradition is celebrating a major milestone this year. The Woodland Art Fair is turning 40.
And the fun kicks off tomorrow morning. Deanne Stevens is out and about with more on the preparations for the big event.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. We are here at the Woodland Art Fair, Woodland Park. This is the 40th anniversary, big celebration year, 10s going up, all kinds of artists moving in. Stephanie Harris is with us, Lexington Art League Executive Director. Now, this is a lot of work. You said you got to bring the interns in. We got golf carts flying everywhere in preparation for the next 2 days.
Yeah, it's a huge event, but it's an annual event, so we have a lot of those kind of logistical things and infrastructure pretty well figured out. Our partners at Parks and Recreation really provide everything that we need in terms of, traffic control, making sure we have the equipment that we need. And then we come in with a big group of volunteers and, of course, the wonderful artists coming from across the United States.
You said to get into the Woodland Art Fair is a big deal for an artist. Talk a bit about that and tell folks how it works.
Yeah, so the Woodland Art Fair is a professionally juried fine art and craft show. So basically what that means is that artists have to apply to be selected for the show. We have over 600 applications a year, and then our jurors whittle that down to 200. So it's a really competitive show, and we find that a lot of the artists that are coming here to the Woodland Art Fair are also exhibiting at some of the largest art fairs across the country.
Okay, one of those artists is this young man right here. David Kring is with us. David is from the area, went to Transylvania University. Pretty cool that you're a part of the Woodland Art Fair now, considering what Stephanie just said, how hard it is to get in.
Yes, I've done couple other markets around Lexington, but this is the first time being at Woodland Art Fair, so I'm really excited to be here for the first time.
Tell folks about your artwork.
It's pottery. It's functional pottery. I also do sculptural figure work on a larger scale, but today and throughout the weekend I'm going to have pottery, mugs, cups, plates, bowls, that kind of stuff.
What sometimes I think people don't get when it comes to artwork is how much time you guys put into things like this.
Yes, I'm a full-time potter, so I spend just every day working in my studio, which is my detached garage, so it's great to wake up and be able to work in my field.
All right, you guys can come see David and his beautiful pottery and artwork here at the Woodland Art Fair. Things are kicking off 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, running until 6 o'clock tomorrow night, and then 10 until 5 on Sunday. Come be a part of it here at Woodland Park. I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about. Back to you guys.
It's time for better living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. Doctors are warning parents about a new trend, DIY braces. Hundreds of videos have popped up on YouTube coaching young people. The girl seen here is using a rubber band to show more than 400,000 viewers how to close a gap. The consequences are so alarming, the American Association of Orthodontists is warning about the misuse of rubber bands.
Certainly you can move teeth with elastic hair bands, but you have no control over that movement, and you can actually damage the teeth, the supporting bone structures underneath. It can even result in loss of teeth.
Doctors say most orthodontists will offer a free consultation to find a treatment that will work for you. A new study suggests cutting fat in your diet can lead to greater weight loss compared to restricting carbohydrates. The study by the U.S. National Institutes of Health closely examined 19 obese adults during a pair of 2-week periods. First, participants ate 30% fewer carbs, then 30% fewer fats. The study shows they lost more body fat during the week fats were restricted. Researchers say a low-carb diet still reduces insulin and increases fat burning. If you're trying to lose weight, the American Heart Association says smartphone apps and wearable sensors can help you make healthier choices. The group also says the device's effectiveness for reducing risk factors for heart disease and stroke is limited. 1 in 5 Americans uses some technology to track health data, count steps, or try to lose weight.